I know that dogs hear higher frequencies than humans, and I know dolphins hear higher frequencies than dogs.
There you go.
And that's all I'm adding to the rest of this episode. That's
Fun
it.
fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Dogs, higher frequencies than humans. Dolphins, higher frequency than dogs. And now you know.
Welcome to the Ask an Audiologist podcast, real audiology white papers written by real audiologists and explained to you by a real audiologist and a guy who isn't. Now here are your hosts, Dr. Jordan Strong and Kevin Ziener.
It's the Monday after daylight savings, and we are all types of screwed up, but that's not stopping us from bringing you a brand new episode of Ask an Audiologist. I am sleep deprived, but alas, I am Kevin Ziener.
I'm Dr. Jordan Strong.
Dr. Jordan, let me ask you this. Do you hate daylight savings as much as everyone else who doesn't live in the state of Arizona?
Yes.
What's worse? Do you hate springing forward so you lose an hour, or do you hate falling backwards so you gain an hour but it's darker earlier? Which one do you like least?
I mean, momentarily, I don't like to spring forward, but
Sure.
in the long run, that's much better for me.
Because
I would
longer
rather
sun.
have a
Yeah.
longer day. Yeah.
I do appreciate an extra hour, which we don't actually get because it was stolen from us earlier. We're just getting our hour back, right?
Yes.
It's like somebody like taking your dog out of your yard, and 6 months later, like, oh, I'm giving you your dog back. No, it was mine to begin with. Like you didn't find them, you stole them. It's mine. Good. I'm
Different
glad.
analogy.
Yeah,
sure.
a very different analogy. But the same thing is like you took it from me. Like, you're not doing me a favor by giving it back. You're just setting me right again.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've properly bashed a subject that will never change in our lifetime, let's dig into today's topic. Written by the always fiery Dr. Liliana Cabrera Piccinini, we are going to discuss the human hearing range. And the only thing I know about this, and I genuinely actually know this, I know that I have my script right here, but I know that dogs hear higher frequencies than humans, and I know dolphins hear higher frequencies than dogs.
There you go.
And that's all I'm adding to the rest of this episode. That's
Fun
it.
fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Dogs, higher frequencies than humans. Dolphins, higher frequency than dogs.
Yeah.
And now you know. Thank you guys so much. That's been Ask an Audiologist. So, Jordan, tell us where we fall in the animal kingdom, where humans are, or better yet, like what can we actually hear before it's too high pitched where we're like, well, that's just nothing that needs to concern me.
Sure. Yeah. So humans mostly hear from about 20 hertz to 20,000.
Got it.
Some can hear a little bit higher than that, but mostly around 20,000.
Okay.
That's if you have great hearing.
Got it. And typically, I think we mentioned this a few months ago, that is for like children.
Yeah.
Like small children can hear up to 20,000 hertz.
Yeah.
These numbers in front of me, like 50 and under, you hear up to like 12,000 hertz. 40 and under is like 15,000 hertz, 30 and under 16,000, 20 and under is about 17,000 hertz, assuming you're an average, like your hearing is on average. Obviously, some people can hear more because they haven't been exposed. Some people hear less. Then from like a decibel standpoint, like if people want to know what the decibel level is of certain sounds, like for instance, breathing is about 10 decibels.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. No, we're going to play a game. So you said it. So breathing is 10 decibels. What would
turn into a game?
Yes, everything turns into a game show.
Here we go.
A whisper would be what?
A whisper is probably around 20,
Got
30.
It. 20 and 30.
Yeah.
A slightly noisy conversation.
Around 60.
Yeah, 50.
Average conversation, I normally say is around 50.
Well, to be fair, you live in Louisiana, so an average conversation is about 85.
That's true.
What about a lawnmower?
Ooh, lawnmower, I would say is probably around 90.
That's exactly right, 90. Chainsaws.
Those can get pretty noisy. I mean, I'd say like 110, 120.
Perfect, 120.
Really?
And then a jet engine taking off is what?
Probably 180.
Yeah, 150, between 150 and 175.
There you go.
Which is not that huge of a jump from a chainsaw, by the way. So
right. I mean,
I think universally,
distance,
probably. Distance is huge, but like I think universally we think like, well, of course it's a jet engine. We should put hearing protection on. But then and I'm sure you have seen people as well, where it's like just operating that chainsaw, just free willing that ear to left and right as if nothing bad's happening. And it's only a 30 decibel difference.
Yeah.
Which is not great.
Right. But it definitely puts it into perspective.
So then, so with the human hearing range and understanding that age is a big indicator on hearing loss, what are at what point do you think we should start like what sound should we start protecting our hearing so that we can maintain it all?
Mm-hmm. So it kind of goes off of not only the loudness of the sound, but the duration of the sound.
Okay.
So if you're going to be around like a loud sound for, any length of time, absolutely bring your hearing protection.
Got it.
I mean, obviously there are some sounds that are just sudden.
Sure.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously if you're going to be around something like that, then wear your hearing protection. But otherwise, I mean, it's more for duration a lot of times.
And I think one of the things that having been in audiology long enough, clearly like sounds, noises, loudness is one of the bigger triggers for hearing loss, right? But there are other things that can affect your hearing and the range of hearing. So obviously noise exposure is the first one, kind of like a lifestyle choice, right? Poor diet, high stress, drug usage, those all have very real ramifications.
Absolutely.
And then of course, like disease, I mean, something that you may or may not be in control of, but like disease also, which boggles my mind. The more I learn about audiology, the more I realize everything just wants to attack your ears.
Yes.
Like that's what it kind of comes down to.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it's going to manifest in some ways, but it's always going to your ears.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so with disease, it can be something like meningitis, like when a child gets meningitis when they're really young.
Yeah.
It can absolutely just completely blow out those ears. And now, that child has severe hearing loss or profound hearing loss. But then you also have treating the disease. Sometimes is almost just as bad,
right? Because
so many medications are ototoxic and just attacks the ears. So it's bad either way.
It's bad. They get you coming and going. Essentially is what you're saying. So understanding where humans can hear is great. And we understand that as we get older, that spectrum shrinks just a little bit year after year. And so what are some things that we should do, obviously hearing protection, but other changes that we should do in our life to really make sure that we are conscious about preserving the hearing that we have?
Yeah. I mean, just basically like anything else, watch your diet, your lifestyle. There's a lot to say about stress. With hearing loss, oftentimes people who have hearing loss also have tinnitus. So, with tinnitus patients, they often have stress.
Sure.
So if we can manage the stress, we can manage the tinnitus. Can't really help your hearing loss all that much.
Right.
But, because what's done is done.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, all of those things, it's a chain reaction,
I like the things that are always weird to me. Like, I don't understand how water can hurt your hearing, but apparently it can. Like if you're a frequent swimmer who's not using hearing protection while you're swimming, somehow exposing your ears to water is like bad news.
I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
Right. And some people are more, have that disposition more than others.
Sure.
But, with those types of hearing losses, it's going to be something that's more like conductive hearing loss, typically, to where it's going to affect the outer and the middle ear more than anything. The losses that are more concerning are the inner ear, which is like a sensory neural hearing loss.
Got it.
So for people who are like frequent swimmers, things like that, typically those are a little bit easier to treat, wear swimmer's plugs, that type of thing. Be sure you're not getting ear infections, that type of thing.
I also think that it's important to remember that, like, if you've been exposed to loud noise or you've gone to a concert or to a festival for a day or two, you need to give your ears a break.
Yes.
Like, find somewhere quiet, hunker down inside. Don't put in earbuds. Don't listen to your cans. Just like exist in a calm environment for your ears to bounce back.
Absolutely. In a way, our ears kind of work like our kidneys. It's got to flush out those toxins. Sound is it's essentially like a toxin to our ears, and our ears have to flush that out.
I also like the one where like we all do it, but when we're flying and we need to pop our ears, I feel like we're doing it because our ears are congested, but it's actually our body's way of like protecting against that pressure wreaking havoc, which is something that I just assumed we did it just to do it just because human beings were never supposed to be 30,000 feet above the world, right?
Right.
But it's our body being like, hey, we're actually protecting our ears right now.
Right. I mean, it's got to equalize that pressure both on the inside of our head as it is on the outside of the head. And that's the whole goal of that eustachian tube that's in there, is to equalize the pressure on both sides.
I like how you get to actually reference the body parts that it's affecting. I'm like, yeah, but you got to yawn when you fly. Like, and yeah, Kevin, and here's why, you idiot.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here.
True. Very true.
That's why we're here.
I did forget that I'm the layman and I did not go to school to know what you know.
But by the end of this, you're gonna get that diploma.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just gonna present it to you.
You and Dr. Michael are gonna give me an unofficial diploma that means nothing, but I'll feel better because then that means you're both leaving and I'm gonna have to do this podcast by myself.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're on your own.
Thank you. To learn more about human hearing or dogs hearing or dolphins hearing or maybe even bugs hearing, head on over to askanaudiologist.com. I don't promise those articles exist there, but there are a ton of articles on that website. Dr. Jordan, a truly remarkable job as always.
You're welcome.
We'll see you guys next week.
You can find more information at askanaudiologist.com, and you can follow us on all our social channels at Ask an Audiologist. The information provided on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice.